Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. This is Cass from Herbs from the Soul, and I have a very informational Herb of the Week edition. So, originally I had another herb in mind. I was going to talk about oregano today, but considering what has happened recently in the last few days, for a few people that has been impacted already, there's some type of virus going around. And, you know, with dealing with like high fevers and such. So, my youngest daughter was impacted by that. I had to aggressively fight with this thing. So I do have an herb of the week, but I also have a couple other things I want to talk about because all of these things helped her recover. This girl went from barely walking, talking about she's in pain, high fever, 103.5. To now having it's like night from day. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. So for the herb of the week, if I had to single it down to one, which I will be talking about others today, it's Yarrow. And I probably, in case I pronounce that wrong, it's Yarrow. So Y-A-R-R-O-W. The date is when I put it in the jar. So clearly this was yesterday. So I got this yesterday. Seriously. Yarrow is good for, it has antiviral properties, but what it's very, very good for is fevers. So it will drastically reduce the fever. I'll load some pictures later because I was so impressed. Because nothing I was doing, it was treating everything else, all her other symptoms, but it was not bringing that fever down. I was battling this fever for like 24 hours. Well, no, it wasn't 24 hours. I got this yesterday. So I want to say about 12 and some change. Moving on. So what it's also good for is bruises, sprains. It's antibacterial, antifungal. It reduces the duration of colds, flus, fevers, and it even mentions the measles virus, which hopefully everybody's been vaccinated by now from measles, mumps, rubella. But if not, you know, it does help for that for those who don't believe in vaccinations, period. Yarrow is good for the measles virus. So this was the game changer yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. When I tell you I tried some of everything, and it was like cold baths, giving her plenty of fluids, et cetera, et cetera. I even broke and gave her aspirin, bro, which it just went from like, it was something crazy. It brought it down from like 103.5 to 103.1, something crazy. It was still high. This right here, I gave her 2 servings. So she got the first serving. It brought it down from, and I'll put the pictures up because I don't want to just make up some numbers here. But it reduced it significantly within an hour. And then I gave her some more of this like 2 hours later. And before she went to bed, it had been brought down to like 99.8 and some change. So Yarrow for fevers, ladies and gentlemen. I've witnessed this hands-on. As an herbalist, you know, you're trying to like, you want to think you know everything. We don't know everything. So I've heard about this herb, but I never thought I was going to have to use it until yesterday. Yarrow for fevers. All right. In addition to that, her other symptoms were flu-like. I didn't take it to the doctor, so I'm not going to just throw out a diagnosis. She had flu-like symptoms, possibly the flu. So, you know, in addition, because everything else I was able to work with and bring significant changes, except the dang fever. Me and that fever, boy, we was like, I was like, Anyway, and now she's back there playing video games like nobody else in this house exists. Anyway, so the other herbs I want to talk about today is they're also antiviral. They're for cold and flu. I was giving this to her to ease her other symptoms associated with the flu. Ignatia. I had mixed this with elderberry. For those who already know, elderberry is the Yana. Elderberry, Ignatia, and one more, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to try astragalus. I have already made tinctures. They're going to be ready in a couple of weeks. This one right here I'm going to talk about. Now, these 3 I did in a combination, and they helped with her other symptoms. And of course, you know, I gave her the mullein for the coughing. That got rid of that. But these were for the other symptoms dealing with the cold and flu. They were excellent. And I gave it to the rest of my family as preventive because I am sick and tired of, you know, something coming in and it's like, I'm going to get the whole household. Not today. Not today. So I went up in there and I already was up in there like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give everybody this tea right the hell now because we is not going to be doing this today. Excuse my language. So Ignatia, elderberry, and astragalus. And I'm going to be selling these tea blends very soon because I see how significantly valuable they are in treating colds and flu. Hit me up if you're interested. I'll be having those ready soon. So another thing about astragalus that I want to mention, which is why I made the tinctures, you got the avian flu that's supposed to be going around. They say it's not transmittable from person to person, but just in case there's some type of nonsense, you know, like they claim it's one thing, then something else happens, I got you. I got tinctures. They'll be ready in a couple of weeks. Look it up, astragalus for avian flu. Don't take my word for it. All right, so key things about Yarrow as a tea. This is how it looks. I want to tell y'all right now, it tastes terrible. It don't taste good. All right, this don't taste good worth a darn. So you're going to need to put some honey in this sucker so it can taste a little decent. But it's bitter. But hey, everything don't need to taste good. It's medicine. Tough it up, buttercup, toss it up. And this is how the Ignatia, elderberry, and the astragalus looks. That lovely color from the elderberry, obviously. This, however, with a little bit of honey, tastes divine. Absolutely divine. Those I ain't taking a sip of the Yarrow because unless I need it, I ain't taking it. Because, yeah, it works. But, and my daughter was complaining. I made her drink. I was like, look, you gonna drink this today because ain't nobody going to the ER. And I kicked that fever, so you know what. So, Yarrow for fever, once again. And for cold and flu, Ignatia, astragalus, and elderberry, all mixed together in a tea blend. And yes, I would recommend a couple of times a day. If you're interested, I'm about to start packaging this stuff. I'm taking pre-orders. Let's go ahead and get our kids back in the household, depending on how far it has stretched. Let's go ahead and get our households healthy. Until next time, I'm Cass from Herbs and Soul. This is my Herb of the Week. Deuces.